I want to ask you something, and I want you to sit with it for a moment. When was the last time you felt genuinely, deeply rested? Not just, I got 7 hours last night, not, I had a quiet Sunday. I mean, truly rested. The kind of rest where you wake up and your body feels like it belongs to you again, where you have energy left over at the end of the day, where you feel like yourself. If you're watching this, I suspect that day feels very far away. You've probably tried everything: the supplements, the sleep hygiene, the meditation apps, the acupuncture, the detoxes, the hormone panels, and you are still tired, still wired at night and depleted by noon, still running on empty no matter how much you try to fill the tank. I want to tell you something that I believe with everything I have after over 15 years of working with women like you. Your nervous system is not broken. It is brilliant. And today we are going to learn why. Welcome to Rewire to Restore, a 12-week series dedicated to healing your nervous system after years of overdoing. If you followed along with my Reclaim Your Life Force series, you now have a deep understanding of what's been draining your hormones. The cortisol cascade, the estrogen dominance, the thyroid suppression, the blood sugar chaos. We spent 12 weeks mapping the root causes of your exhaustion. This series is the natural next chapter because here's what I discovered in decades of clinical practice. You can do everything right for your hormones and still feel terrible if your nervous system hasn't been addressed. Your hormones and your nervous system are in a constant conversation. And if the nervous system is stuck in survival mode, it will override every healing protocol you try. So we're going to go deeper. Over the next 12 weeks, I'll be weaving together medical astrology, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, and nutritional endocrinology to give you a complete integrated map of your nervous system and the practical tools to restore it. Whether this is your first time here or you've been with me for years, I'm so glad you're here. Let's begin. I want to start with the reframe that I need you to really receive because it changes the entire way we approach healing. Your nervous system is not malfunctioning. It is not weak. It is not broken. It has been doing exactly what it was designed to do for you, for your life, for the specific demands that have been placed on you, probably for decades. The dysregulation you feel right now, the anxious vigilance, the exhaustion that doesn't lift, the feeling of being simultaneously wired and depleted, that is intelligence. That is a system that learned to survive. And when we understand it that way, what with curiosity instead of frustration, with compassion instead of criticism, healing becomes possible in a completely different way. Your autonomic nervous system has 3 primary states, and you move between them constantly. Or if you're chronically depleted, you get stuck in one. The first is the ventral vagal state. This is regulation, safety. This is the state where you can think clearly, connect warmly, digest your food, sleep deeply, and restore your hormones. This is where healing happens. The second is sympathetic activation, fight or flight. This is where your body mobilizes for danger. Heart rate up, cortisol and adrenaline surging, digestion shut down, sex hormones suppressed. This state is brilliant in a genuine emergency. But when it becomes your baseline, when your body thinks every unanswered email, every difficult conversation, every sleepless night is a predator, this is where exhaustion lives. The third state is dorsal vagal collapse, freeze or shut down. This is the deep end of the pool when the sympathetic system has been running so long that the body simply stops. The numbness, the disconnection, the I can't even, that some of you know very well. Most exhausted women, especially if you're over 45, are living somewhere in that second state with dips into the third, and they've forgotten what the first one feels like. We are going to remember together. Here is what years of chronic caregiving, emotional labor, and hypervigilance actually do to a nervous system. Every time you override a body signal, I'm tired, but I can't stop, you send a message to your nervous system that your needs are not safe to have. Over time, the nervous system stops sending those signals as loudly. You lose access to your own cues. Every time you brace for impact, waiting for the next crisis, the next need, the next demand, you train your system to stay in a low-level state of threat detection. Your baseline threat level rises. Things that wouldn't have bothered you a decade ago now feel overwhelming because your system is already running so hot. And every time you collapse at the end of the day, not in a restoration, but in shutdown, you confirm to your nervous system that the only two options are overdrive and collapse. The gentle middle ground of genuine regulation, it starts to feel foreign. This is not a character flaw. This is neurobiology, and it is completely, absolutely reversible. From a medical astrology perspective, the nervous system is governed primarily by Mercury, the planet of communication, information processing, and the breath. Mercury rules the mind-body connection, the neural pathways, and the literal nerves. If you have significant Mercury placements in your natal chart, in Gemini, Virgo, or the third or sixth house, your nervous system is likely particularly sensitive, highly responsive, and easily overstimulated. You may have always felt too much in a world that moves too fast. What's critically important right now, we are moving in a Uranus in Gemini transit. Uranus, the planet of disruption and awakening, moving into the sign most associated with the nervous system and communication. This is a collective nervous system activation. Many of us are feeling it already as a kind of ambient buzzing, a sense that Everything is moving too fast and too much is changing. For sensitive, depleted women, this is an invitation to get your nervous system resourced before the intensity increases. The women who thrive through a Uranus and Gemini transit are the ones who have built genuine regulation capacity. That is exactly what we are doing here. In traditional Chinese medicine, what we're calling nervous system dysregulation is understood through several lenses. But the most important for this week is the concept of Shen. Shen is the spirit that resides in the heart. It governs consciousness, mental clarity, emotional well-being, and sleep. When Shen is settled, you can feel calm, present, and connected. When Shen is disturbed, which happens when the heart is overburdened, when blood is deficient, when the kidneys cannot root the spirit, your experience is anxiety, racing thoughts, insomnia, and a sense of not quite being in your body. Sound familiar? TCM also recognizes something called the heart-kidney axis, the communication between the fire of the heart above and the water of the kidneys below. In a regulated system, these two communicate fluidly. The heart warms the kidneys cool the heart. When this axis is disrupted, as it so commonly is in chronically depleted women, we get that maddening combination of a racing mind and a collapsed body. In Ayurvedic medicine, the nervous system is the domain of the Vata dosha, the dosha of air and space, of movement and communication, of creativity and sensitivity. Vata imbalance gives you inspiration, flexibility, quickness of mind, and spiritual sensitivity. Vata out of balance, which is the most common imbalance in modern Western women and accelerates dramatically in perimenopause and menopause. Vata out of balance gives you anxiety, overwhelm, insomnia, scattered thinking, and the feeling of being completely ungrounded. The Ayurvedic solution is not to suppress Vata, but to ground it. Oil, warmth, routine, nourishment, stillness. We will come back to these tools in depth throughout this series. There's also a substance in Ayurveda called Ojas, often translated as vital essence or life force. It is the refined product of good digestion, deep rest, and nourishment. Ojas is what we lose when we chronically overdrive, when we skip meals, when we sleep poorly, when we give everything and restore nothing. Rebuilding Ojas is in many ways the entire mission of this series. From a nutritional endocrinology standpoint, a chronically dysregulated nervous system is both a cause and a consequence of hormonal imbalance. They feed each other in a loop. When the nervous system is in chronic activation, cortisol is elevated. Elevated cortisol suppresses progesterone production, disrupts thyroid conversion, drives blood sugar instability, depletes magnesium, and impairs sleep architecture, which further dysregulates the nervous system, which elevates cortisol again. The most important nutrient for nervous system regulation is one that most exhausted women are severely depleted in: magnesium. Magnesium is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including the regulation of the HPA axis, the conversion of neurotransmitters, and the calming of neural hyperexcitability. We'll go deep on the specific nutritional protocol in week 9, but for now, know this: what you eat either supports or undermines your nervous system's capacity to regulate, and that is completely within your power. Now, here's what I want to speak directly to you, wherever you are in this journey. Over my years of practice, I've observed 4 distinct exhaustion patterns in women who have spent years in chronic overdoing. And the reason I'm telling you this now is that each pattern has a distinct nervous system signature, which means each pattern requires a slightly different approach to healing. The hormonal hurricane, she's driven, capable, running on cortisol and willpower, and her nervous system is locked in sympathetic overdrive. She cannot slow down even when she wants to. The somatic store, she carries her stress in her body: tight shoulders, clenched jaw, chronic pain, a system that holds decades of unprocessed emotion and unacknowledged needs. Her nervous system has learned to freeze rather than feel. The constitutional mismatch. She's been following everyone else's protocols and wondering why she's getting worse. Her nervous system is hypersensitive, easily overwhelmed, and has never been given tools that actually match her constitution. The transitional transformer. She is in the midst of a profound life shift. Her nervous system is in the sacred disorientation of becoming. She needs a map, not a protocol. If you don't yet know which pattern is most active for you, I have a free quiz, the Energy Alchemy quiz, that will tell you in about under 3 minutes. I'll put the link below. And throughout this series, I'll be speaking to all 4 patterns. So wherever you are, you'll find yourself there. I want to leave you with one practice this week, just one, because overwhelm is the enemy of regulation, and I am not here to add to your list. It's called the Orienting Response, and it is one of the most powerful, accessible nervous system regulation tools we have. Here's how you do it. Find a moment right now, if you like, when you can pause. You can be sitting or standing. Slowly, gently, let your eyes travel around the space you're in. Not scanning for threats, just looking, noticing what's here. The color of the wall, the light coming through the window, the texture of what's in front of you. Let your gaze soften and slow. Let your eyes rest on something pleasant or neutral for a moment. Now take one slow breath. Let the exhale be a little longer than the inhale. That's it. What just happened? You sent a direct signal to your ventral vagal system, the part of your nervous system that governs safety and connection, that you are here, you are present, and you are not in danger. The orienting response is something mammals do naturally after a threat has passed. They look around, scan the environment, and it signals safety to the nervous system. We've largely lost this in modern life. We go from one screen to the next without ever pausing to let our nervous systems register where we actually are. Practice this 3 times a day this week. Before meals is a beautiful time. It only takes 30 seconds. And I want you to notice, actually notice how it feels in your body when you do it. Because that subtle shift, that small softening, that is your nervous system's way of saying, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Your nervous system has been working so hard for so long to keep you going. This series is an act of gratitude toward it, a recognition that it has done its job and that it is safe now to learn something new. Healing is not about fighting your body. It's about befriending it. And that begins with understanding it. Take the Energy Alchemy quiz. The link is below to discover which exhaustion pattern is most active in your nervous system right now. It's free. It takes less than 3 minutes, and it will give you your personalized starting point for this series. And if you're ready to go deeper, if you want personalized guidance, community, and a complete program built around your unique pattern, the Life Force Reclamation Program is where that happens. The link is also below. Subscribe so you don't miss week 2, where we go into the caretaker's nervous system, what decades of putting everyone else first has done to your biology, and why it's not your fault. Until then, practice the orienting response. Look around. Notice where you are. You are here now. You are safe. And you are worth restoring. I'll see you next week.